There we go. Right, so good morning and welcome. So as I was just saying, the news that we've got is we've got two new staff, Jeremy and Lorena, and they'll be listening into the recording this morning. And we also have some training coming up for our tenement consultants, which Linda will be attending, and we're looking at filling the gap between, so for a lot of our clients, there's a need for that gap to be filled between our expertise, which is in the software side of things, and the tenement management side of things as well. So people like Linda have just oodles of experience in tenement management, not just in WA but across Australia. And for some of our clients, that's the kind of help that they need, along with the software support that we provide. But we always say we're the experts in software, we're not the experts in tenement management, and we rely very heavily on our clients to be able to let us know improvements that we can make that best suit themselves. So one thing that we want to make sure of is that we have good processes in place to be able to make sure that our clients are covered as much as possible. So there we go. That's it in a nutshell about our news. So any questions on our news, or any things that might be coming up, generally speaking?
Can I just ask, just off the cuff here, will
Sure.
MT audit cease in December? Is that still going ahead as planned, that'll finish in December? The MT audit?
No, MT audit is, we do have a plan to turn off its functionality, but December is too soon for too many of our clients.
Right.
We are.
No, I love MT audit. But yeah. No,
definitely. That's right. So the news is that MT audit is going to expire. Its support will expire, but we're still getting feedback from all of our clients as to when that would be an appropriate time. We want to make sure that the clients that are using MT audit have had an opportunity to look at LandTracker as its replacement, and be able to make a decision there to say yes or no to moving forwards away from MT audit and into LandTracker. So
then of course there's the transitional period. If they choose to go with LandTracker, you want a transitional period for them.
Exactly, and you know, you probably want to run both systems in parallel while you're getting over that transition there. Let me just turn off my email because you don't need to see those popping up on the screen. One sec. And there we go. All right, so shall we move into the new features that we've got? So you would have seen the release email that came out last week. Did anyone have any problems with the update at all, downloading and installing the new version?
I did have to give it a couple of goes, actually, Mike, have to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
You can probably tell your end that it... Sorry?
Sorry, mine does say download failed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just try again.
A couple of times, yeah. And then I think eventually it said upload, download complete. And then I sort of thought, oh, if it wasn't, I was going to give you a call. And then I think, but on your end, you should be able to tell, can you, if we've all sort of upgraded, or you when we...
We can. Yeah, so we can switch to your replicated database and check to see what version it's running. But if you do run into any problems, just give us a call straight away, because that way we can resolve it for you then and there. And that's what we like to do, is to, if you do run into any problems, is that we can fix them up as quickly as possible for you. You know how much I love a remote session as well. And I love talking to all of my clients. All right. So, but you know what? I'm going to have to share that load soon. Oh, it's going to be annoying. Lorena and Jeremy are both going to be answering calls. All right. So, new stuff that we've got. Super exciting release this time. So there's been some things that have been asked for a little while, and ones that will make big impacts that we feel to our clients. So let's start with our big ticket. Let's go with action reports here. So this is a new dashboard item here, action reports, and we've built two reports based on feedback that were the most important ones coming up on expenditure and rent. So this gives us a breakdown of expenditure across each tenement for each month in order of what's coming up. If we wanted to consolidate that into our years going forwards, we can look at our 2016, 17, 18 and so forth for budgeting purposes. So this is what's left in 2016 and this is going forwards for 17, 18, 19. And if we wanted to break that down by month, there we go. So these are our monthly totals coming up. So if you have a financial year that's separate to your calendar, it'd be a great idea to sort these into what's coming up for your tenements as far as your expenditure that's required. Same thing for our rents. This is rents coming up per tenement, and one of the things that we can do if we just wanted to see what was coming up for a particular tenement, we can filter by selection on that, and that'll give us everything that's coming up for the next few years for just that tenement. And that's everything there. Totals by month and totals by year. So a great little forecasting tool there. This expenditure one doesn't have a CPI increase because expenditure is expenditure from year to year, and it tends not to change based on a CPI. The rents, though, we're able to change the settings there by going into application settings.
Hang on, where are you? Okay.
So from the dashboard, sorry, that's a little bit fast. From the dashboard, go into application settings, and we have, I'll move this over a little bit.
Yep.
Application general, we have our CPI rent at 3%. You'll also notice that we've got a figure here for rates CPI, and that's in anticipation of our next release, which will have a rates calculator in the same way that we've got our action reports for rent and expenditure. So we're pretty proud of this one, actually. It's something that took us a little bit of coding to figure out, thanks to Justin and Stefan. So we've got that available for budgeting purposes. Any questions on that so far?
No.
Pretty good?
Looks good.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent, no worries. So one of the other things we're able to do now is run an import from non-WA tenements. So we can do an import based on, we've always been able to see, if I type in our friends at Southern, we've always been able to see the tenements from other regions outside of WA. We've never really had the templates to be able to bring those into LandTracker and be able to do actions against them. So with this release, we've also released our, sorry, that's the other one. We've also released our generic tenement template, this one here, and that's available on our download the wiki templates. So now I can bring in these ones, and if I add them to our managed group, we can import those, and now we can have actions against them, save them to our database as we would for a WA tenement. Don't forget, for our action definitions, we can set those actions based on jurisdiction as well as group, so that we can set actions specifically for certain regions. We don't have to have the South Australia ones follow the same action plans as the WA ones. So if we have a look in here, we should see our South Australian and Queensland ones there, which is good. So one thing to keep in mind with our interstate departments is that their data sharing is not even close to what we get from WA. So you may not have, you may not have the same kind of granularity that you get with the WA tenements. And as far as updates are concerned, you may not have exactly the same quality of information. So there may be some manual entry involved there. But we'll certainly, as we go to expand into other jurisdictions, we'll be talking to the departments in the same way that we talk to the DMP in WA about improving their data sharing. Government data is certainly moving towards this open sharing between the users of that data and their own internal, so long as it's not confidential. So,
Yeah.
all good then? Very good.
Just thinking.
No worries. Okay, so one of the other ones that we had, and Gemma, this is one that we got from yourselves, is can we tidy up the screen a little bit so that we can see more of this details pane? So we've created this feature here, which is very much like the Outlook preview pane, which allows you to move our details pane to the bottom of the screen and give you a bit more real estate along the top here. So that's available just by right-clicking on any of the tabs in the details pane and click show on right or show on bottom.
And will that stay there each time?
That's a sticky setting, so it's up to the individual. So you might like it on the right, someone else who's using it in the same company might like it down the bottom. It'll follow you wherever, whichever one you use.
Great.
Okay. Our action browser. If we have a look at our actions, you'll notice that our views have been cut down quite a bit here because we had this combination of actions that I'd like to see that are complete or next 30 days or next 90 days. These were all these separate views down here, and we tried to come up with a way of making sure that we could consolidate those into just the views that we needed to see, such as all of our actions based on the status of completion of that action. So as these were building up and up, we didn't want to have, let's see all my rents that are incomplete, and then next 30 days, next 90 days, so on and so forth. So what we decided to do was create this little drop down here that allows us to globally set these status settings. So I can just have a look at what's coming up in the next 30 days of all of my actions. And this is a really small tenement set, so you're not going to see heaps here. But if we want to send these out to people who are going to be doing the completing the actions for us, and we want to cut down on what's visible, we can certainly do that just by hitting this drop down here and looking at the actual actions that are going to be applicable. So that's a little feature there that's going to be carried forward. I'd love to hear some feedback on this one as well. See if it's something that that people are going to like. If there's other statuses that you'd like to see in here, we've just picked 30 and 90 days incomplete, but that you'd like to see, more than happy to take that on as some feedback. As always, any feature requests that you have, pop them into Trello, and feel free to comment on anyone else's as well. We certainly do take a lot of feedback from directly inside LandTracker with our little feedback man here with our hat. Also looking at any error messages you might have, we definitely take a look at the feedback that you send us on that. But definitely the Trello board is a great place to put in your feature requests as well. So if you see something that we have done that you'd like to see some extra features put into those, by all means, create a new Trello card on that. We'd love to see more feedback rather than less. All right. So we've done the switch between, we've got action reports, and one last thing that we've got is the templates now support the suggested options in the footnotes. So if we have a look at our fields here where there is existing data, and if we type in something that exists before, we've got this suggested option drop down here, which is populated by other statuses that exist in there, and that's all well and good. But what happens when we've got something that a field that we want to set those suggested options ahead of time. So in our tenements, or in all of our templates, sorry, not just tenements, we've got this option here where you can add a suggested options field to our field settings. So you've seen your templates before, and this is one that's coming up for agreements. If we go to our footnote 22, we can see that the terms that we're going to look at, our suggested options that we're looking at here are allowed expenditure assignment, and so on and so forth. So we can set those ahead of time, so that when you start typing them, they're available to you straight away, straight out of the box, as a list of suggested options in the same way that we have for all of our other existing fields. So a bit of a time saver there. Also a little bit of a data validation as well for people who you may build the template for someone that may actually be looking at filling those in later. So there we go. Other things that are coming up, as I mentioned before, is for our next release, is we're going to have, I'll drop that, don't need that. We're going to have a rates report, which will be the due by month. Now rates are a little bit tricky because they don't have a monthly due date, so we'll have to have a think about how we'll display those. The other ones that are coming up, we're going to be able to export the results of the change tracker to Excel. So every time we do an update from either MTO or the rest of Australia now, the change tracker will be able to save whatever the changes are to Excel, which will allow, if you're doing it regularly, which will allow us to keep an audit trail of what's been changed over time. We're also bringing out read-only versions. So if you want to have people who will be able to view LandTracker within your company and be able to see without actually making any changes, we're going to be making that available on next release as well. So there are three of the things that are coming up, along with our training for our LandTrack certified tenement consultants. And that's the news for us at LandTrack Systems. So if there aren't any questions, I'll sign off, and we'll publish this recording and make that available for everyone to have a look at on our website. Any questions at all?
Not from me, thanks, Mike.
No worries.
No, me neither.
All right, all good. Well, have yourselves a great day. I'll be speaking to both of you shortly, I'm sure. And we look forward to the next webinar and our next release. Have a great day.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye all.
Bye, Gemma.
See you later, Linda.
Hello.